Power theft is one of the most prevalent and worrisome issues in Nigeria, and recent findings show that the practice does not only cause economic losses, irregular and inadequate supply of electricity, but also leads to poor power quality. More so, it is said to hamper functioning of equipment, industries and factories, and shortage of power supplies to homes due to shortage of power supply to them. Government is therefore losing revenue as individual enterprises have turned to other reliable sources of power regardless of how expensive they are. And joining us to discuss and recommend lasting solutions to this menace is Dr. Abel Iroboman. Dr. Iroboman bags his doctorate in power systems and machines and is glad to have you on the program. Join us right now on a Newsday. First of all, let's start by asking you to give us an overview of tariff and its involvement from inception in the country.
Okay, the tariff from inception, there was even a time when, I think in the 70s, tariff itself was around 1 naira. Then it gradually moved from 1 naira to 7 naira to 10 naira. As far back in the 90s, you pay for a kilowatt of energy for 9 naira. But however, in recent time, we pay close to 50 naira per unit for this tariff. Now, according to studies, we have been able to see that one of the purposes for this tariff, we try to look at how the prepaid meter was introduced for revenue generation and collection. However, this prepaid meter, they were eventually utilized better when it comes to revenue collection. However, in generation of revenue, they are made fall short of what they are supposed to be. Because when you talk about generation of revenue, it's a function of reliability. And that is why we are here in this new tariff, which is a service-based tariff. That is why the appropriate authorities try to see how they can make input, how they can generate more money based on the reliability of power. When you pay more, you get more, depending on the band that you find yourself.
Indeed, Dr. Iroboman. Now, will the willingness to pay for energy increase or decrease due to the recent tariff increase? You also mentioned the issue of the prepaid meters here as well. In terms of cushioning the effect of that increase, if it comes, how will this play out?
Yes, when you talk about the willingness to pay for energy charges, this is actually a function of the rational behavior of the customer or consumer. Customers are those that pays for energy. Consumers are those that find ways to go about it in cheating the system. So when you talk about the willingness to pay, because the product is not largely available, it is easier for someone to tell you that when the product is available, I will pay. But however, when the product is available, payments for this product become very, very, very difficult for some customers and consumers alike. So what we say is that when we are on inverter, you are on stand-alone system, you are on generators, we tend to control our load. We are our own DISCO. We are our own PACN. But when we are on utility, we tend to leave the system to waste energy. And research have shown that the amount of energy that we waste for even putting on a 60-watt incandescent bulb in a year is enough to solve the problem of energy. In some cases, for consumers who are maybe the 3.7 kilowatts, an average family consumes 3.7 kilowatt hour. So when you waste energy as such, the energy that you are wasting can even help in ameliorating this energy shortage, as it may be.
Now, do you think that this recent tariff, the tariff increase that is, will lead to an increase or even decrease of energy theft?
Yeah, I think what I think is that the will and the willingness of the closure of a customer to a meter should be removed. We have seen some cases whereby these meters they are pole mounted. When you mount them on the pole, they are not closer to the customer. They are not closer to the consumer. So the will to even cheat the system will no longer be there. Secondly, what I feel is that our meter is a one-way control system. The customer only interacts with the meter, but the utility does not have an interaction with the meter. thereby they capitalize on a correlation coefficient. They look at what have been done in the past to judge what is in the future, thereby telling that your monthly vending is low or otherwise. But however, if there's an interaction, once I load my meter, the utility should be able to see how I'm moving with my load, not some form of correlation and taking a step that my monthly vending is either low or high. What I think is that the meter should be far from the system, and the means of communicating with the meter should be so that the utility also can observe what the consumer is being consumed, as is done in some parts of the countries outside in Europe and America alike.
Very good, Doctor. Now, do you think the tariff increase was for the purpose of generating revenue for the appropriate authorities? And of course, is it commensurate with power generation itself? And isn't this system also shortchanging the consuming public?
No, the system, as a researcher, I don't think the system is shortchanging the public, because everything that the system does is already written blue and black. It is well written. If you're on prepaid meter, you pay before you utilize. If you're on metallurgical estimated billing, it is captured in the tariff structure. It is captured by the NEC Act. So the system is shortchanging nobody when it comes to this issue. Now, on the other issue, if it will, please, the other issue, I think.
Yes, we're talking about the tariff increase was for the purpose of generating revenue for appropriate authorities. Briefly, please.
Okay. Yes. Yes, definitely. Tariff is a business. It's a business. Then it's a product. When you make product, there's operational cost, there's capital cost, there's personnel cost. There are so many form of costs that you must pay, and you must make profit. So you have to generate revenue. You have to make profit so that you can be able to manage your system and move along. However, when it was during the MITO one, so many issues were not considered when during the setting of tariff. And that is why the tariff itself have not been stable, because we don't have the cost of gas was not considered. Forest rate was not considered. Variability of market was not considered. Function of energy, primary energy sources were not considered. So the tariff will continue to go high and high, to the best of my knowledge, if all these economic indices are not put into place.
Excellent. Yes. That's where we're going to leave our conversation. Many thanks, Dr. Abel Iroboman, energy and power expert. Many thanks for your update.